What's going on, everybody? Welcome in. Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm Howard Bender. Andrew Cooper with me here. If you guys just came tuning in from Getting Buzzed, thank you so much for watching over there. Nice little retrospective, some good highlight moments there from 2023, and some fun Santa stuff there. Here, it's all about fantasy football. Because Thursday night football, that's tonight. NFL Week 16 kicks off. You got Rams, Saints. People are panicked in the streets over their playoff lineups here. Coop, you must be bombarded with nonstop stuff.
It's crazy, man. And the hardest part about it is that we have so many injuries that are up in the air. And the biggest problem is the Monday slate of 3 games where we don't have any practice info from yesterday. We might not even have practice info from today on those games. So now it's like, do I start guys tonight? Now it's turned into fantasy baseball, Howard, where it's like a 50% chance of rain for my third baseman who's good, or I can start my other third baseman at 1 o'clock. The other guy plays in Seattle at midnight or whatever. Like now we're all over the place. So you got to decide if you're going to start guys tonight or you're going to wait and see what happens on Monday. It's a mess, man. But we're here to do our best to help you sort it out. And today is the day. If you have start sit questions, I know we've been putting it off as long as we can. We at least have some practice reports in from yesterday, and we're going to do our best to hit them up. So get those in the chat. We'll hit them all today.
Yeah, there's lots of ground to cover, no doubt about it. So before we update you on all the injuries and stuff like that, or hit the questions in the chat, let's just take a quick look here at some Thursday night football. Saints Rams. I've got a betting article over at fantasyalarm.com. Our good friend Dan Malin has the showdown write-up for you DFS players if you're interested in that. Coop, initial thoughts here on the game itself. I mean, aside from the fact that we are all dancing in celebration because Cooper Kupp is going to be facing Alante Taylor. I know,
Let's
right?
Go. Let's go. That's our boy, dude. That's our boy.
It's like Christmas come early.
It's nice, dude. Yeah, there's some slam dunks here, and then there's some sketchy ones. That one, the Cooper Kupp slot game, is a slam dunk. And you know what? We give Alante Taylor a hard time, but he said it himself at the beginning of the year that he knows he's an outside corner. That's where he's going to end up. He's playing out of position. You know what I mean? So he knows it too, that it's not an easy transition to play slot versus play on the outside. That's why some guys only play on the outside. So you know what? We'll take advantage of it.
We'll take advantage of it. We are taking advantage of it. So Kupp against Taylor. What about let's start with the backfields here. Kamara on one side, Kyren Williams on the other. Kyren Williams, he's like over 120 all-purpose yards in each of his last 4 games since coming back from injury. He's been dominant, and they're giving him the football a ton. So now he's going up against the Saints D, who, listen, they started off the season well, then they got beaten up and they got, trounced a couple of times on the ground. But they've rebounded over the last 2 weeks, but Carolina and it's the Giants. So are we really?
We're in. We're still in. And Kyren Williams, he's like a unicorn, man, because when we go for the dynasty people know this, that the people that stick with us all year, when we go into the draft, we look at running backs. The kind of rule of thumb is you can be under 200 pounds or you can be slow, but you can't be both. Right. And that's why Kyren Williams fell so far in the draft to like the 4th or 5th round. Even though he was good out of Notre Dame, he's not that big. He's not that fast, but man, he's got an eye for it. And for me, the fact that he plays every snap, virtually 58 snaps last week. I mean, when I do my snap count article, I get to the Rams and I'm like, yes, finally a break, a team where I don't need to think at all because they just use the same 11 dudes like every play. These were the wide receivers. So out of 75 snaps, you saw Puka Nacua played 75, Cooper Kupp 75, Demarcus Robinson 71. Perfect. They use Tyler Higbee. They use Kyren Williams. I love this team for fantasy purposes because it makes it easy on us. So Kyren Williams, wherever I have him, he's in my lineup no matter what. I can't imagine what a team looks like that Kyren Williams isn't starting for,
Yeah, no, there's zero chance I'm putting Kyren Williams on any bench. I mean, I don't even know if there is a running back who I would probably turn around and say I have to start him over Kyren Williams. Is there one?
I mean, so here's the thing. If you have both Kyren Williams and Christian McCaffrey, you're starting both of them. I can't name the third guy if there is a third guy, right? Like I think I have Kyren Williams ranked at 2. So like he's locked in, he's slam dunk. On the other side, it's Alvin Kamara. That the Saints are kind of the complete opposite of what I just described with the Rams, where they mix and match. So I just gave the snap counts on the Rams, how all the wide receivers played over 70 snaps. The Saints last week, they played 62 offensive snaps. The leading wide receiver in snaps was Lynn Bowden, playing 37 snaps. So it's just a mix and match nightmare. The one guy you can trust, if I'm going to trust somebody, is Rashid Sheed, because he comes out for run plays. So he still ran 25 of the 32 routes, but I mean, I don't know, man. It's a mess. And they do the same thing with the tight ends, and they do the same thing kind of with the running backs, where Kamara played 32 snaps, Jamal Williams played 29. Taysom Hill is always a threat to steal that rushing touchdown. Saints are just a mess, man. They make our job difficult, don't they?
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, not really. You can just avoid the situation.
Okay, I guess if
are
you
you
just avoid
are
it
you
completely.
really? I mean, I love Chris Olave, and I think the world of Alvin Kamara. But are we missing players who are such amazing game changers by avoiding the Saints because of this whole nightmare of a situation? I don't think we are.
Well, they make my job difficult because I have to rank every player for every format. So I have to go deep. For you in the DFS.
Welcome to the big leagues, kid.
DFS,
I was ranking players before you were a glint in your daddy's eye.
And now you're the other boss. You pick your spots with your DFS dartboard, right? You can avoid all these nightmare spots, right? You got your slates. Someday I'm going to be the boss. And I'm just going to be, start the studs and let somebody else do all the rankings. But yeah,
start your studs. The worst, the worst advice to give anybody.
Yeah. So many people.
Start your studs.
So many people have lost doing that, man. So many people, and we've tried to tell you.
Everybody has. I mean, you put your trust into some of these players, and you hope that they're going to deliver on the regular. But again, if you're not playing the matchups, if you're not studying, I just sat there with talking about. And I think you and I had a conversation, coaches who are, on the hot seat. Like, I can't wait for that to happen so I can start diving into the systems again.
Yeah, that's fun, man. I love reading those. That's my favorite set of articles to read in our draft guide every year, your coaching article, because it really does tell you, like who, even with two, if a team has two brand new backs, you can look and see if it's a zone blocking scheme or whatever in your series there and kind of figure that out, man. So yeah, I love that, man. Can't wait for that to get going.
All right. So Thursday Night Football, again, DFS write-up is over at fantasyalarm.com from Dan Malin. I've got the betting article there, my picks against the spread, couple of player props I threw your way also. So you guys can go check that out. Let's dive into what we've got coming up here. Or, we could talk news and notes right now. I see the chat is bumping. Love seeing everybody in there. Coop, you lead, I'll follow.
All right, let's do some quick. Sorry, chat. We're gonna do some quick news and notes. That way we can just focus on the chat and stuff.
Who doesn't like to have any fun? Sorry.
You know, I'm the ambassador.
Look what happened. I put him in charge, and and he craps all over.
Every time I've been in charge, I've said let's go to the chat. And what I'm doing today is I'm getting all the housekeeping out of the way real quick.
Scrooge, that's fine.
I wish you weren't a liar.
Burns. Get out of here, dude.
You gotta love and respect Brian Burns.
Yeah, right. He came on the show yesterday on screen, did a little holiday party with us yesterday, and I watched the movie that he mentioned. It's called Violent Night with David Harbour, the guy from Stranger Things, as Santa Claus, just beating everybody up. That movie is incredible. A little bit violent. My wife thought it was a little too violent for Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you like Santa Claus just beating everybody up with a sledgehammer, that movie is absolutely for you. But anyway,
I love when Brian Burns joins the show. It's one of my absolute favorites. Oh,
I love and respect Brian Burns.
Yeah, he's probably not going to let me do this. I'm trying to share my screen here, Coop.
Oh, you're trying to get in with the get the
Get
picture.
in the holiday spirit here. There it is.
There's the king, dude. What an angel, dude. He's looking like a nutcracker there, dude.
Right. You gotta love and respect Brian Burns. All right, I'm done.
Let's get through the news real quick. Yeah. Speaking of Brian Burns, the only team that has their practice info out from today, they practice early, is the Panthers, and Brian Burns didn't practice for the second time. So he's the only Thursday DNP I've seen so far. We'll keep an eye on the rest of it. One guy that did practice here, Jonathan Taylor, full participant, expected to be a full go for Week 16 at Atlanta. Couldn't come at a better time because Zach Moss is banged up as well. So, JT, what do you think, man? I had a hard time ranking him outside the top 20, to be honest.
I mean, it's a good matchup. It's not a great matchup. I guess for me, it's probably we're in a better spot because Zach Moss is so banged up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if Zach Moss is going to play. Did Zach Moss practice today?
No.
So it's another missed practice for Zach Moss. Taylor, at least he put in, like, they listed him as a full participant in Wednesday's practice, which was just a walkthrough. It wasn't like hardcore, but for him to be a full participant today and to see no Zach Moss, yeah, I'd be interested in using Jonathan Taylor this week against the Falcons. It obviously depends on who else you guys are, your options are, but if Jonathan Taylor is good to go and they're going to give him that full workload and not, dive into these backup guys, it's such a rarity to have that kind of a bell cow back these days that you have to use them.
Yeah, you have to. And it's just, you get into the split back so quickly going through. And of course, there are a few split backs we start no matter what. But at a certain point, you just got to start these guys, start Jonathan Taylor. So we'll have to see on that, man. But I'm in. Other news is DeMonte. So I always thought it was DeMonte Kazee, but on the broadcast, they were calling him KZ. Either way, they're not going to be calling him anything on the broadcast anymore because he's now been suspended.
Not going to work here anymore.
Not going to work here anymore. So he's now been suspended, and that's been upheld by the hearing officer, James Thrash, who's just thrashing seasons left and right for these players. So he's done for the year. I'm surprised if he was going to be done. You would think Kareem Jackson would have got a bigger suspension, but I don't know. What are your feelings on that? We know Tom Brady came in and said that he didn't like it, that he was suspended, but what are your thoughts?
You know what? I mean, they're doing what they feel like they have to do. It doesn't, you know what? I actually don't care. Get rid of them for headhunting and doing it. That's fine. It has no impact here in fantasy other than the fact that, hey, now without KZ, whatever his name is, Kazoo.
All
right. Like, without him and Minka Fitzpatrick, well, suddenly, the Bengals passing attack with T. Higgins doesn't, look too terrible here against Pittsburgh, even in Pittsburgh. So, that's the impact for me. I have no other opinion on it. I'm, whatever. They held it up. Good job. Well, the NFL sticking to their guns.
Sticking to the guns, dude. They didn't do with Kareem Jackson, but away she goes. All right, let's just hit some injury news quick, and then we'll get to the chat. So, again, we have to take this with a grain of salt because I didn't even include any players that were where it said there was no injury next to it. They just said like veteran day off or whatever. I didn't include anybody where it says illness either, unless it's Thursday, because for the most part those guys are good to go. So Darnell Mooney's sick, James Cook is sick, but they should be fine, right? Jamar Chase out already. So in case you've been living under a rock, no Jamar Chase this week. CJ Stroud ruled out already with a concussion, right? So he's no go. Trevor Lawrence still trying to get his way back. Got to put it in perspective. There's really only been like one quarterback to enter the protocol and make it back for the following week. It was Brock Purdy. For the most case, when you go in that protocol, it's very difficult to get out. So Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, Zach Wilson, got to prepare for life without those guys this week. Will Levis dealing with an ankle injury. It's a high ankle sprain. That one is not looking good. Another one that we have info on, Marquise Brown. He was dealing with the heel injury last week, and then he tried to play and he left the game with the heel injury. So for me, that puts him on red alert, right? The fact that he's not practicing again with the heel. You got Greg Dortch with a foot injury, so could be a little wheels up for Rondale Moore. Christian Watson not practicing. Jaden Reed not practicing. We talked about Zach Moss not practicing. Zay Jones dealing with a knee injury. That could help out Calvin Ridley.
Who's that going to help out with CJ Beathard under center?
I know.
It's so upsetting too, because it's like you're facing a tomato can secondary in Tampa Bay. There's so much promise there, and now the Jags are a bunch of Jags.
Evan Engram this year.
Oh, I do like Engram this year.
Yeah, still with Beathard. Yeah. But the thing is, if he this week with Beathard absolutely pulls the rug on us, man. After All these years of people telling me this guy stinks. After this year, week 1, he got 5 targets. And since then, he's gotten 6 or more targets in every single game. 6 or more. I mean, what more in this world can we ask for, right? If he pulls the rug on us this week, man, I don't know if I'll be able to take it, dude.
Who do you love more? Do you love Evan Engram more than Dalton Kincaid, or Dalton Kincaid more than Evan Engram?
Yeah, I mean, it's like your oldest son and your new.
You're like sitting back, picturing yourself in a threesome with this dude. Crazy. Look at you.
I was just picturing us. I was picturing us out on a boat on the lake, you know, and Ingram's showing Kincaid how to put a worm on his hook, you know, for the first time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. See, we know Burns, right? It's all about what's going on below deck.
Nah, those are my boys, man. The thing is, I'll always root for Evan Engram because just people dogged him and said that it was over and it was done. And then look at him now, top 5 tight end back-to-back years. That's my boy. Kincaid, speaking of him, limited participant. They got him back in the red no contact uniform. If he's not a full participant by this weekend, we have no choice but to discount him, to be honest, because he split snaps with Dawson Knox in a very weird game script, but because the game script was weird, we don't know for sure if they would have split snaps, right? So I am a little worried about him, unfortunately. Pretty much all the Dolphins sat out, as they always do on Wednesday, so say what you will. Tyreek Hill is the one we're most worried about, but both Mostert and Achane sat out. Alexander Madison still not practicing, which huge implications, right, for Ty Chandler, Howard? Like humongous.
As long as listen, I think it's fantastic if Ty Chandler is the only back in that backfield, or no, he doesn't have to be the only back. Like Wangu or whatever can like take some some touches to freshen him up. But in this matchup here against Detroit, what I like is that they weren't afraid to use Chandler between the tackles, but we know the outside zone scheme, and we know that the passes out in the flat work. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely, I think Madison's status is going to be very, very important to watch.
Yeah, and I want people to keep in mind that if Madison is a go, this all of a sudden is not okay, we just start Madison situation, because the coach came out and said, but regardless what happens, Ty Chandler's earned more playing time. So this time around, I mean, knowing them, they probably will just put Ty Chandler back on the bench because they've done it like 5 times already. But I feel like this time around is different. I'm already hearing myself say it.
You know what? She's not going to cheat on me again. Right? I'll just take her back.
That's the Arrested Development. Well, did it work for those people? No, no, it never does. But maybe it will for us, right? I mean, geez, I can hear myself saying it too. Maybe this time will be different. Oh my God, I don't know. So that would be, I mean, just for us, for our sake, I feel like if Madison would just not play, that would be great. Treylon Burks got a big snap share this week. Played 48 snaps, only 1 fewer than DeAndre Hopkins. He's not practicing on Wednesday. From what I saw, it was what were they calling it? There was
I don't know, everything
dead air. No, there was at first they said that it was just a regular day off. Now they're saying illness, so I think he's going to be fine.
I think he's fine.
Yeah,
I definitely like him.
2 big ones left here. Well, it's actually 3. One, I'll give this one first because it's directly related to the success of a team, but it's not the fantasy players themselves. Both Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are DNPs this week, and Zach Martin left the game. So, and you saw what that game looked like with no Zach Martin. So if either of these guys are out, this is a problem. But historically, when Zach Martin doesn't play, it is not good for the running back.
Right. That was a Wednesday practice, though, that they missed?
Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them coming up. This is not a game that I don't expect either one to miss this game just because of the magnitude of this matchup against Miami. And that's what it's on Christmas Eve, right? It's the afternoon slate. Yeah, it's it's like it's like a 4:30 game.
Yeah, so today is the day that matters. I want to see those guys. Even if they're limited today, we're fine, because those guys, they'll practice limited all week and they'll play 100% of the snaps because that's what those guys do. The other 2, Brian Robinson might be out again, in which case Chris Rodriguez got a good chunk of carries. Any Chris Rodriguez thoughts, man? DFS.
I like Chris Rodriguez more than I like Antonio Gibson.
I'm starting to feel that way too. I didn't want to say it first. I wanted you to say it first, but but now that you've said it, I'm
Is
like,
fantasy receipts monitoring this? Because I don't want to say it first, otherwise they're gonna come get me. But yeah, I think Rodriguez. He profiles as a better back, like between the tackles type guy. And that's kind of where you want to attack the Jets. I mean, you can attack them on the outside zone too, but I mean, why not just hammer him with Chris Rodriguez for a little while?
right. So. Pass interference in the end zone. That's a Chris Rodriguez touchdown.
I love those touchdowns. Yeah. Unless, of course, that pass interference happens at the 1 and you play for Tennessee, and then Will Levis is going to steal your touchdown away from you because he's a selfish son of a bitch.
I was pissed when that happened. I think I texted you guys and said some pretty vulgar words actually at that moment. Last one that people all of a sudden finally people are getting behind Hunter Henry because he finally got multiple touchdowns in a few weeks in a row. Could have had 2 again last week. Had 9 targets. Of course, he leaves the game with an injury and has not practiced in the first reported practice here. Today is the big day. So it's a knee injury, DNP. Today is the big day for all these. So everybody check on that, check back and see what happens there. But yeah, no bueno. No bueno there.
No bueno indeed. Check out the injury report gets updated on the regular over at fantasyalarm.com. Ray Kuhn puts that injury report together all the time. We also have our news feed that just comes cycling through. So you definitely want to check all of that out. Coop, you want to do a little underdog and then the chat?
I feel like we got to go to the chat first. We got to go to the chat first.
Oh, suddenly Coop's on Mr. Chat.
I've always been Mr. Chat, dude. The chat is undefeated. We got to go to the chat first. We'll get through some questions and then we'll jump into Underdog.
All right.
Ann Dunn says, hi, #family, happy holidays. That was the one that was screaming at me in the face that said, you know what, we got to check out the chat here. Tyson Carter with the happy holidays semifinals. 3 leagues left. Wow, Ann, impressive. Tyson Carter's got 10 left. Out of how many, Tyson? Let's see. Okay, Andy, here's the first question. Standard league. Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill, Addison, DK Metcalf, Hollywood. Decision may be for me with Hollywood and Keenan.
I mean, I don't think Hollywood I definitely don't think Keenan Allen plays. I think Keenan Allen sits immediately. And Hollywood hasn't been looking great either. So, yeah, I mean, Tyreek, Addison, and Metcalf, you got to hope that Tyreek plays.
Yeah, I wonder you got to know who your 7th option, your wide receiver 7 might be cracking the lineup this week. So be careful, man. Pitt, Rams, Seattle, Vegas defense this week. So we got Pitt going up against the Bengals. You got the Rams going up against the Saints tonight. Seattle is going up against the Titans, and then Vegas has the Chiefs. So you're not going to start Vegas.
Yeah, I think call me crazy here, but I almost want to know. I mean, I really wanted to think about like Pittsburgh at home. Their defense at home has always been rock solid here, but I think I'm going to end up just pivoting over to Seattle.
Yeah.
Just because, Will Levis is banged up. We don't, with his ankle issue, if they did have to go to a backup, like what that looks like, it looks like Tannehill or Malik Willis. It's just not good. I think, hopefully Seattle gets like Witherspoon back and Jamal Adams back. They missed last week's game, but yeah, I'd lean Seattle here.
Yeah. And again, Titans eliminated from the playoffs. Not every team does this, but sometimes when teams get eliminated, they just say, hey, you know what? Let's see what these young kids have. Let's see what Kyle Phillips can do. Let's see what Tajay Spears can do. And you can get turnovers from those young guys. Tyson Carter says, few questions as well. Tua, Stafford, or Kyler?
Tua, Stafford, or Kyler?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going Tua in this game against the Cowboys. I feel like you got to throw. I
have him ranked third. I like all 3 of those quarterbacks. I think I have them all top 10. So, but yeah, you got to go with Tua.
Yeah.
Yep. JSN and Noah Brown.
I'm going Noah Brown here. I mean, JSN, you're still, I like what we're seeing, that there is an increased target share, but Noah Brown is the lead receiver in that Texans team right now in a must-win situation. yes, Cleveland's secondary has been tough, but they've also been dealing with a number of injuries lately as well. So I think Noah Brown out of the slot.
Yeah, I like it too. Got 11 targets last week. Tyson has another one. Connor, Chandler, and McBride. So he needs an RB out of Connor or Chandler first.
He needs an RB out of Connor or Chandler.
I think Alexander Madison is going to determine that.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. If Madison plays, then use Connor. I mean, it's not a great matchup against the Bears, but it's not a horrible matchup. So yeah, if that's the case, yeah, I would use Chandler if Madison is not playing. If yeah, that's it. And then McBride's the other.
Yeah, you got to start McBride at the flex. You can't go away from him right now. I mean, he just got 11 targets against the 49ers. That's a good defense versus tight end. Flex League, Dynasty Superflex. Zappy, Rudolph, Godwin, Goddard.
Dynasty Superflex, Zappy, Rudolph, Godwin, or Goddard. Ugh.
Zappy's got the. You can't start Rudolph because he could get pulled.
Yeah, you can't start Rudolph, and I don't really like Zappy in this matchup here against Denver.
You just probably start Godwin. I don't like Goddard's been kind of mediocre himself, so
yeah, I would probably just go with Godwin here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bummer, but yeah.
Flacco,
I mean, you could conceivably just say screw it and throw Zappy in there. If you feel the need to get a quarterback in there because it's 6 points for a passing touchdown, you could put Zappy in there. I just wouldn't expect much. Yes, we see your mud.
Do it. Flacco and Howell. Ride with Flacco, or you can pick up one of these QBs to start over Flacco. Mullins, Heineke, Browning, Keenum. Not going to start Keenum.
No.
Kind of like Mullins, dude.
Mullins is probably the best out of this group. If I had to, I would say Mullins, then Browning, then Heineke, then Keenum is how I'd rank them.
I actually might not start Howell against the Jets. I might might pick up two guys. It feels crazy to do it in playoffs, but I might just start. Like the thing we liked about Browning was his weapons. Well, look at the weapons for Mullins, dude. Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson, and it's kind of hard to be bad with those guys. So get Mullins in there for sure. Mullins and Flacco. Is that what we said?
Well, it's a 1 QB league, so
it's 1 QB
just for this. Just for this week, I would get Mullins. Yeah, I would add Mullins. I mean, who does Howell play next week? Week 17. Let me just look and see here. Oh, it's against San Francisco. So yeah, just swap out Howell for Mullins.
Exactly.
And then decide between Mullins and Flacco moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Puka or Olave and Laporta or TJ Hawkinson. Never seen Hawkinson spelled like that. I would go with Puka for sure, right?
Yeah, I would use Puka, and man, I don't know. I don't know how to get away from Sam Laporta. I don't know why you would get away from Sam Laporta. Hawkinson's great, but you still have Jefferson and Addison there, right? And you still see some work to Brandon Powell or KJ Osborne. Like, that it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and then Jahmyr Gibbs. That's the target order.
Yeah, right? Laporta, I can already picture Laporta is going to cook up the Vikings on at least one screen, but maybe a couple. Like, go back and watch Jonnu Smith against against the Vikings. The screen he had, the blitz is so crazy with the Vikings that if you just get him right with the screen, it's a touchdown from anywhere on the field. Like Jonnu Smith had like a 62-yard touchdown, and every single Vikings player was in the backfield. So, you can get them. They're going to dial up some stuff for Laporta with that pass rush. 20-team league, so this is a deep one. Flacco or Heineke at QB, and then Flacco or Heineke at QB first.
I think I would probably just go Flacco.
Yeah, I'm going Flacco. He's been good. He's playing the Texans.
Yeah, he's playing the Texans. He's been fine, and I just again have a very, very tough time trusting anything Falcons related right now.
Right. And then Elijah Moore, JMO, Chase Brown, or Tucker Kraft at the flex.
I'd probably use Elijah Moore, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the top targets on the team. He's not, I mean, we did see a couple of weeks ago the double-digit target game. So, I think matching up here against Houston, how does Houston do against slot receivers? That's
Terrible, dude.
see, there you go.
Terrible. In fact, their slot corner, according to Colby Conway, big Texas fan, Tavion, was it?
Naga, not gonna work here anymore.
Tavier Thomas. He's not only terrible, but he's also out. So you might be facing the backup who couldn't beat out one of the worst slot corners in the league.
And with their starting team, Houston Texans ranked 30th in DVOA against slot receivers.
Yeah, gonna be just fine. PPR 2 out of Ridley, Flowers, and Kincaid.
I'll go Flowers and Kincaid unless Trevor Lawrence plays. If Trevor Lawrence plays, then I'll say Ridley and Kincaid. How about that?
Yep, for sure. Would Zay Jones being out change that at all, or you're not going there with Beathard at all?
No, I just don't want to go there with Beathard, especially if Zay Jones is out. If Ridley's the only game in town, right? Beathard's, they're gonna double cover Ridley and force Beathard to what? I mean, that's why Evan Engram 100%. Calvin Ridley without Trevor Lawrence does not work for me.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys, PPR, who would you put in the lineup? I'd put in Christian McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, and Josh Allen. That's what I'd put in. Andon wants to know 2 in PPR. Tight end.
His question's up top, a little further up there, man. Come on.
All right, we'll hit his real question. PPR for Hamplition 5. What a name. PPR, who would you put in for 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers of flex? Have Jonathan Taylor, Zeke, Kenneth Walker. So Kenneth Walker did not practice yesterday. He's got a new, and I Googled it, and I was like, what's going on here? Is this the same thing? Is this just a day off? He's got a new injury. It's a shoulder now. So Taylor, Elliott, Walker, Mostert, Olave, JJ, Pittman, Ridley, likely Darren Waller. So you can't not start Raheem Mostert, right? He's 20.
Let's just break it down for him. 2 running backs. Mostert is definitely one. Taylor is the other, right?
Yep. Unless Ramondre's out, and then I would consider Zeke. But if Ramondre's playing, then no Zeke.
Trust me, you're going to want him in the flex.
Regardless?
You're going to want Zeke in the flex. Just
go
with me here, right? Okay. 2 running backs.
All right. So
Taylor and Mostert.
Wide receivers.
Now 2 wide receivers. Justin Jefferson.
Pittman might be out this week.
Yeah, so Olave. You got to start Olave tonight.
You have to start Olave tonight.
And now you need a flex between Ezekiel Elliott, Pittman, Ridley, likely Waller.
Yeah, and I'm not going to start. I mean, Darren Waller, I like him in DFS, but are you really going to go there? I don't know. It's scary. It's a scary place to live.
If Ramondre plays, would you say likely over Elliott?
I might. If Ramondre plays and Pittman's out, I actually would probably start the 2 tight ends. Yeah. So there you go. I guess that's going to sort itself out for you. Ann has another one. Tight end premium. Javonte, Addison, Amari Cooper, Kincaid. Also has Hunter Henry. Doesn't want to chase last week points. Well, Henry's also banged up, so I don't know. I would be careful with him. But he's got a great matchup. I mean, the Broncos. So if he does play, you might have to start. You might want to go with Henry.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I don't like this week for Javonte at all. The Patriots are good against the run, and Samaje Perine quietly ran one more route than Javonte did last week. So I don't know. I'm starting to not like it, Howard, all of a sudden.
Oh, I don't like Javonte this week at all. I mean, it's a solid run defense. If I'm picking 2 out of this group, I'm trying to see how does the Chargers I can't imagine the Chargers being good against Dalton Kincaid. So
terrible.
That's one. So it's either Addison or Cooper for me.
Yeah.
And I think I would probably actually lean Cooper than Addison.
Upside. Got to go upside. Cooper against the Texans, where you go. Addison, he did play a full snap share, so we don't throw him in the trash with JJ back, but they're gonna more more passes are going to be thrown to JJ and Hawkinson than Addison, which is kind of caps what his ceiling is.
Yeah.
Brad Testerman, happy holidays to you as well, sir. Full PPR starting JJ and DK. Smart. Gibbs and Bijan. Okay. Gibbs, Bijan, or Saquon. So I don't know. Got to start Gibbs, I think. Saquon and Bijan. This team on draft day, I would have looked at this team and been like, you already won the league. But now I look at it and I'm like,
yeah,
Bijan and Saquon.
I mean, I'll just say Bijan because I'm just not going to deal with Saquon going up against the Eagles this week. I think Bijan's just got a little bit softer of a matchup.
Right. Eric Gray. Oh, no. Matt Breida played a ton of pass snaps. More pass snaps than Saquon. That scares me. So,
yeah, I mean, the Giants weren't in the game at all. And so, like, that's the problem is that they're going to protect Barkley, if they get knocked around at all. And considering it's against the Eagles, yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah. And I think what you do here is it's Bijan, Saquon, Olave at the flex. I think you start Olave. So you move Olave to a wide receiver spot and move who's playing the latest out of that crew? DK. Move DK to the flex, right?
Yeah, I would probably move DK into the flex just so that you can do that.
And start Olave today because you never know what could happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Robert Flores in the chat. What's up, brother? Good to see you.
What's up? Bobby Flowers.
Cup or Brees Hall? We are so very much in on Cup this week that Cup is going to be the answer to pretty much all the Cup questions today. Start Carr or Mullins?
Mullins against Detroit.
Can't go away from James Cook right now, Howard, right? James Cook or Pollard?
Oh, I definitely can't go away from James Cook right now.
He's too hot. He's too hot
good.
Right now. Good afternoon, Coop and Howard. Good afternoon, Lou Brew. Pop. How? Good afternoon, Coop and Howard. What am I doing? Say my own name wrong. Two questions for Lou. Love or Geno?
Love or Geno this week? I would probably just go with Geno here, considering he's got great weapons and he goes up against the Tennessee Titans' horrendous defense. Like their secondary is terrible. It's kind of interesting with Carolina. Not only did they get back J.C. Horn and Jeremy Chin into their secondary, but if you watch the way they've played right now, they play at such a grinding, slow pace. They just eat the clock all the time. Like, I mean, you're talking about like so few plays run here for the Carolina Panthers, and their opposition in games, like number of plays run in the game. So I do feel like Jordan Love is probably going to they can probably, light things up here a little bit with Aaron Jones, who should be back. So, yeah, I'm going to say I'm going to go with Geno over Love.
All right, I'm in with that. And then Colts defense or Ravens defense?
I'll just do the Colts because I'm not going to do the Ravens against San Francisco. Colts
actually quietly are like easily top 5 team in sacks. They were 2 for a little while there. I haven't looked back on it, but they've been getting to the QB. And then my fault. Britt was the one that mentioned the movie Violent Night, but they had both seen it. So shout out, Britt. Good call.
Gotcha.
PPR, Ty Chandler, Javonte, Zeke.
Ty Chandler, Javonte, and Zeke. All right. Well, if Madison sits, Ty Chandler is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
If Madison plays and Ramondre sits, then Zeke is the player that I want to use.
Yeah. I'll
Madison. Here you go. If Madison plays and Ramondre plays, then I want Ty Chandler.
I'll send you a flow chart in the Discord. If this, then that.
Bottom line, no to Javonte.
Yeah, agreed. I'm really not interested in that. Hey, guys, great show. Love your opinion. I'm in the playoffs, but very thin at running back. That said, would you play Ty Chandler, Zach Charbonnet, or Chase Brown? I'm leaning Chandler. So for this question, again, this is another one where you got to see if Madison's playing. You got to see if Kenneth Walker's playing. Kenneth Walker just picked up a shoulder, right? I think if everyone's playing, you start Ty Chandler because they told us his job is he's going to, even if Madison's in, he's going to play. So that's the way we're going. But definitely, if Madison's in but Walker's out, you go Charbonnet. Chase Brown, nah. I was very surprised to see that Chase Brown only played like 19 snaps and Joe Mixon played 49. I thought it was a more even split than that, but it's not quite. Where do we rank T Higgins? He's in the wide receiver 2 range for us.
Yeah, I like him this week. Obviously, no Jamar Chase, no Minka Fitzpatrick, no DeMonte KZ, so yeah, I like Higgins this week.
Yeah, technically, I think I have him 26, but that's wide receiver 2-ish enough. Herbert, Keenan Allen, Chase. Wish me luck. Oh boy. Oof. Yikes. Should I be worried? 4 out of 40 for the homie. But if you're still in it, then dude, doesn't matter. All right. So should I be worried about Broncos D? There you go. I picked them up everywhere as they play Pats and Chargers at home next 2 weeks. Would Bengals D be better versus Rudolph? I think with the Bengals D is they do get after the quarterback. Check out your scoring. Because they get crushed through the air. But they have 15 picks this year, the Bengals, which is like top 3. And they also have 15 picks, and Trey Hendrickson has 15 sacks by himself. So if your league doesn't have like big negative points for letting up points, I might actually go Bengals.
Yeah, I think I would go Bengals here.
Yeah, Sam Hubbard too. Like they did lose DJ Reader, but Have
you watched Mason Rudolph play?
It's not good, dude. The crowd chanting for Mason Rudolph. I need a clip of that to play.
You've sunk to an all-time low when they're chanting for Mason Rudolph over you.
I need a clip of that. So when he goes out and throws 2 picks, I can just play that on my Twitter. Mason. Like,
you guys asked for it.
Yeah. Puka or Devin Singletary?
I'll go Puka.
Yeah, it's Puka. Singletary's getting the work, but the matchup's bad, right? He's got the Browns. Hey guys, what's up, Brad? How we doing, brother? Good to see you. DWQB, Lamar, Tua, or Baker? No Baker. If you have Lamar and Tua, you don't need to do that.
I think I would go Tua just for the fact that we're expecting a high game total, and I've seen I've seen Dallas's defense get burned before, right? It's a much tougher matchup for Lamar in San Francisco. I think Lamar gets great rushing yards this week, getting chased out of that backfield by Young and Bosa, but I'm still going to go with Tua.
I've seen good teams get crushed under the steamroller. That's that 49ers team too. Like if I had to pick one of those games for a team to just get smoked, it would be the Ravens. I feel like the Dolphins are always going to put up a fight. And Tyreek practiced today. Thank you, Britt, for chiming in with that. That's good news. Let's go Saints. Can't stand that stupid Rams. Who dat, everyone? Oh, watch out, Turbo Duran. Auntie Coop is usually listening to the show. She's gonna come get you, dude. She's our premier Rams fan. I do love the who dat though. That's such a as a football fan that loves obnoxious things. Who dat say they gonna beat them Saints is one of the best ones. And that big drum they hit, good stuff. Standard, Garrett Wilson, Addison, Noah Brown, Boyd need 2. Thank you.
Well, I'm not going to trust Garrett Wilson if Trevor Simeon's under center, and that's kind of the way it looks right there. So I think I'd probably go with Noah Brown and Addison here.
Yes,
I would probably just go with those 2.
Right. If it was PPR, you can make an argument for Boyd.
Yes, exactly.
Not in standard.
Exactly.
All right. We're going to take a quick moment here. Jay, you're next up. We're going to get through these questions. Don't worry, folks. We got to take a quick second here to say what up to our friends at Underdog, right, Howard?
That is true. Underdog Fantasy. It's where we're playing pick'em contests, doing best ball drafts, all sorts of crazy stuff. We're going to be doing it for baseball once that starts up. Also, we're also going to be doing some playoff leagues. So join the family here. Go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog or zap this QR code right here in front of me and do that. Use the promo code ALARM. You get an instant deposit match up to $100 on your first deposit. So again, it's fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use the promo code ALARM. I was looking earlier. There's a LeBron James half a point little thing you can put in there. So you might as well just throw it down there, the higher for LeBron James. But you got a pick for us for maybe for tonight's game, Coop, for the NFL?
Yeah, if LeBron James were going to play tight end for the Saints, that would be amazing. But unfortunately, they mix and match. So we're not going with tight end. I'm going with the free square, a guy that we've used quite often here. We've actually used him already as the tackle monster earlier this year for a single game slate. That's Alontae Taylor. He plays the slot. He's playing out of position. He should be on the outside. And the way the defense is set up with like Honey Badger in the back and Demario Davis and these guys, it they they really are vulnerable over the middle. And him getting 5 combined tackles is typically pretty easy. He had 6 last week, covering Wandale Robinson, had 6 the week before. I mean, he's had 5 or 6 tackles in virtually every game here. They know what we're up to. Usually his number is set a little lower, but going into this matchup, the way that they square up with Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua and Tyler Higbee, just all guys that basically dink and dunk over the middle the whole game. He might tackle Cooper Cup 5 times today. So give me Alontae Taylor 5 higher.
And I'm just going to go with the chalk with what's been working for the Los Angeles Rams, and it will work for them again here. Kyron Williams, 113 and a half rushing plus receiving yards. He's smashed this in each of his last 4 games. Since he came back from injury, he crushed it. The week before he got hurt, guess what? He crushed this number too. They utilize him so much in both the passing game and the rushing game. I just think Kyron Williams, yeah, I'm going with 113 and a half rushing and receiving yards higher.
Yeah, I mean it's actually the last like 5 games because he had 158 yards against Arizona, and then he had the game with 57 yards from scrimmage. But the game before, he had 127. Like this guy is he's a wagon, dude, and he plays the whole game. So fun to bet on those guys. I like jumping in on the guys that are focal points, you know. So get those in, lock them in with LeBron James.
All right. So again, Underdog Fantasy is where you want to be playing these contests. Zap this QR code or just go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog. Use the promo code ALARM. They'll give you an instant deposit match up to $100. Get some, baby. Thank you, Underdog.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, you want to get that dough in there because even if you don't use it on pick'ems, best ball season's right around the corner. So you might as well get the deposit match while it's available. Get that in there because we're going to be doing best balls again all off season because that was a lot of fun, and I'm winning a bunch of them because I'm amazing at this. So just let's get back to the chat. A liar. I'm winning some of them, maybe not a lot of them, but I'm winning some of them. Hamburglar and a bunch of the regulars that did a bunch of them. I see some of them up there too. So a lot of sharp members here at Fantasy Alarm, but yeah, we're gonna be doing them with members all off season. It keeps us going through the dark off season. So we're back in the chat. Jay, Cleveland or Eagles? Eagles, I still look at them and I think good defense in my mind, and then I look at the stats and the numbers and the DVOA, and I'm like, this is actually kind of a bad defense, right?
It's not it's not a great defense. It's not a bad defense. The secondary has been getting beaten up a little bit lately. Can Tommy DeVito and whatever ragtag group of receivers expose that in this matchup? I think so. But again, I like sticking with a defense that I know rings up the sack totals, that they can get the turnovers when you need them. And Grant Delpit being hurt sucks, yes, but I'll just still stay with the Cleveland D.
Yeah, it is Case Keenum, right? They're not going to Davis Mills.
Correct.
Yeah, we'll start a defense against Case Keenum. Good afternoon, fellas. Good afternoon, Audis. 12-team PPR Walker, Kenneth Walker, or Achane. Well, neither one of them practiced yesterday. And I'm more worried about Walker not playing than Achane. But let's say hypothetically they both full practice today, Howard. Walker or Achane?
If they both practiced and they're both good to go, then Achane.
Yep.
You can run on Dallas.
Mm-hmm. So it's going to probably end up being Achane regardless. Do I trust Taysom tonight or do I pivot to Chig or Hudson? That's tough. I would not go. I don't think I'm going to go Chig, man. Hudson did run the most routes he's run all year, and they don't have Jamar Chase.
And they don't have Jamar Chase. I'd rather do that. I mean, the Taysom Hill stuff, that's at your own peril.
Right.
right?
Correct.
Like I'll say I would rather start Hudson, but we all know the damage that Taysom Hill can do. Is this that game or one of those games? I honestly don't know.
Yeah. He's got this foot issue. He only had 5 yards last week. I'll say this, Ryan. If it's a standard league, then I would start Taysom Hill. But if it's any sort of PPR, I'm going to go with the guy that honestly Hudson gets 3, 4, 5 targets every single week, right? So Hudson's kind of dialed in there. Stafford or Kyler? This is a kind of a tough one. I love the idea. I've created this idea in my head, Howard, that this Bears Cardinals game is just going to be like these two guys running all over the place and huck it, chuck it, scampering around. I hope that that's the case, but in my mind, this could be a very fun game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I've been talking about Kyler versus Fields the entire week, and just how great of a matchup that's going to be. I think if you're
Stafford's just been so solid.
he's just been so solid. So even on a down week last week, he still put up like 18 plus fantasy points, right?
Yeah,
So I think it's a great matchup for Kyler. It really is, but I'd play it safe with Stafford.
Yeah, especially if it's 6-point passing, especially in that case. But I think it is either way. It's Stafford, and plus he plays tonight, and that's fun. Any update on Pittman? Yeah, still questionable concussion protocol. Usually those guys don't clear that quickly, so we'll find out within the next couple of days. T. Higgins or DK this week? That's kind of interesting.
Oh, I'm going to go DK this week. Geno Smith is back, and it's going up against Tennessee. As much as I like Higgins and this matchup here against Pittsburgh, division games, sort of a little wild card kind of a thing there. I would just rather use DK Metcalf.
Yeah, he's a freak, man. He's been good. I mean, he even scored a touchdown in the game. And you got to remember, when you look at the box scores, he got kicked out of that 49ers game, right?
Yeah.
So could have been better. Can you trust Devontae Adams against the Chiefs? Trust is a strong word, but
but I'm going to. I mean, where else is Aiden O'Connell going to throw?
Yeah, it's a trade. He's not going to throw 2 touchdowns to Trey Tucker again. So I think Adams and Jacoby Myers both have better weeks this week. Bench 1, Ford, Eckler, Jalen Warren. Man. Can't
I'll just say Ford, because as much as I like Jerome Ford, it's not the greatest of matchups here for him, along with Kareem Hunt, who I think is supposed to be back from his groin issue. I hate Eckler. I hate Eckler so much. I think it's a total bust, but
fire the coach game. It's a fire the coach, lean on the veteran.
It is a fire the coach game.
Yeah. And the interim coach always wants the first thing you got to do if you're the interim coach is you got to appease the veterans 100%. The Raiders did it the very first game. Antonio Pierce comes out and says, I know who the stars are. That's why Devontae Adams gets 10 targets, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's going to be the very first thing they do is try and keep the veterans happy. Start 2 wide receivers in a flex. Puka, Rashi Rice, Devontae, D-Hop, JT. Puka Rice in, bang, bang.
What's that?
Puka, I think Puka and Rice automatic, right?
Yeah. Puka and Rice, and then I'll just go with Devontae. I don't want to leave Devontae out here, but JT and Devontae. I'm just going to go with the first 3 receivers: Puka, Rice, and Devontae.
Yep.
Right? We don't know exactly what kind of a load Jonathan Taylor is going to get or can handle, for that matter. So yeah.
Right. Agreed. Thanks, guys. You're welcome, Josh. Last one for Ann Dunn. Need 2 flex PPR. Cooks, Elijah Moore, the scalding hot Curtis Samuel, Romeo Doubs, and Zeke Elliott.
All right. Well, if Ramondre is out, then I'm definitely playing Zeke, and then I'm going to pair him up with Curtis Samuel against the Jets, I guess.
Curtis Samuel, I mean, it's not ideal, but that's where you can do damage against the Jets. Happy holidays. What's up? Hate to be that guy. Robinson Jr. plays Chandler or Robinson? Brian Robinson.
If Robinson Jr. plays Chandler or Robinson. So Robinson Jr. is in Washington. That guy.
It's Brian.
If he plays, then yes. Then I would probably start him. Well, here you go.
Madison's out. You start
If Madison's out, you start Chandler. If, whatever. Like that's
Yeah.
the linchpin right there. Can't give you an answer unless I know about Madison.
LeBron
LeBron ruled out tonight. You should have taken the lower.
He has not been ruled out, dude. Shut up. Has he? I gotta check real quick. No, he's playing, dude. Come on. Ruled out of the Saints game. So yeah, he's good. Thanks, guys. Defense choice: Cowboys or Eagles, Bills from the waivers.
I'd take the Bills defense against the Chargers. Absolutely.
For sure. Chargers are disaster. Chiefs, Commanders, Broncos, or 49ers.
Chiefs, Commanders, Broncos, 49. I'm always why 49ers defense.
Yeah. Even against the Ravens?
I mean, even against the Ravens. You
The
could go Broncos against the Patriots, but is Bailey Zappi going to be slinging the rock a ton there that we're going to get the turnovers? I guess go with the Broncos out of this crew. I hate deviating away from like a great defense that you've been rolling with all season long.
Right. And Lamar Jackson, he's another one of those guys. He has those sacks that don't look like sacks because he's so athletic that you don't realize he just got tackled 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage because he's been running around all over the place. But like those still count as sacks, You don't think of it, when Bailey Zappi's not looking and he gets crunched, like you feel like that's a sack. But like Lamar Jackson, Sam Howell, they scamper, and Justin Fields, they scamper around and their sacks add up. So I don't know. I'm going to go 49ers still. A lot of thank yous here. Olave or Rashee Rice? That's tough. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Rashee Rice against the Vegas Raiders. He's literally the only receiver that Mahomes trusts.
I have him back to back with Rashee Rice ahead in the rankings. I have Rashee Rice ranked 15 this week. Whew. Well, Puka, Mixon, or Rice. Start 2 of them. So bench 1 of Puka, Mixon, or Rice. I might bench Mixon.
Yeah, probably Puka and Rice would be the way I would go. I'm looking for the upside there.
Let's see. Thank you. You're welcome. Do I start Cooper, Kupp, and Puka? Would have to bench either Montgomery or Walker? Yeah, no, start both. Bench both those guys. Start Cooper, Kupp, and Puka tonight, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Walker, Monty. Bench 1 of Walker, Monty, or Puka. That one's tougher.
You could probably just bench Walker when you find out that he's not going to play or he's going to be limited. Just start Puka tonight and see what happens with Seattle.
Yeah, we got our guy Adam Brunchin, aka Brunch. He let us know yesterday, Howard. His nickname's Brunch, and I love that, dude. So he is Brunch from now on. Assuming Tyreek Hill plays, need 1 flex of T. Higgins, the DeAndre Hopkins, Devon Achane, Aaron Jones, half PPR, just 1 player.
I'd probably go Aaron Jones if he's good to go running against Carolina.
He got all the carries and at least half the pass work. I mean, I'll take that. Pittman does somehow play. Would you feel right benching Rice, Gibbs, or Bijan to start Michael Pittman? I mean, if Pittman plays, it's concussion protocol, so he'll probably go right back to playing every single snap, right?
Yeah.
So I think
I would use him over. I'd probably actually use him over Bijan if it's PPR.
Yeah, I think so too. Ravens or 49ers, D. Got to go 49ers.
Yep.
Right. They're favored by almost a touchdown, oddly. My Yahoo app has LeBron out. Just came out a few minutes ago. Come on, dude. Is that serious? Because if that's the case, this has happened to Underdog like 5 times where like Bijan didn't get a single carry. Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you got to figure they have to void it. If he's ruled out beforehand, anybody who used that booster, I mean, it's got to just be voided.
Wow, Shams Trania says Lakers. LeBron James is listed as out versus the Timberwolves on the second night of a back-to-back. So LeBron is out. All right, well, bet the under. Get the under in there now, just in case, to see if you can keep that. But they'll probably just void it.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, that's it. I think that's it for us, Howard.
That is going to do it for us here on the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching here. Again, you're going to get a 7 p.m. Eastern live stream on Fantasy Alarm YouTube page right here. So if you got more start sits, Andrew Cooper, John and Pemba, they're going to take you the rest of the way. In the meantime, we're out of here right now. For Andrew Cooper, Brian Burns, our producer, I'm Howard Bender. This has been Alarm Fantasy Football, and we'll catch you next time.
Turd nuggets.